Hi everyone, let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to explain what you do to your family and friends and gotten a blank look? Or is fear holding you and your online business back right now? Now, if you answered yes to either of those, you're going to love this month's free newsletter. How do you get a copy? Head on over to writecom.com now. And by the way, if you want to make more money with your online business, you are going to love our coffee bean money making idea inside. So head over to Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com, and you'll find the newsletter waiting for you over there. Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode from writecom.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled, How Many Hours Should I Be Working on My Business? Now, someone had sent me an email the other day asking me that question, and I just thought I'd take it over to the podcast here because I'm sure there are probably some people that have that question as well too. You know, they're looking left and right and they're just totally confused. You know, the people on the left-hand side are working every hour God sends. They're putting content all over the place and they are just everywhere. And then you have people who claim that they do nothing at all, that they just sit back and relax and that their business is just all passive income. And you know, sitting in the middle, sometimes you wonder, am I working too hard? Am I not working enough? And, you know, how many hours should I be working on my business? So I can totally understand this person's question. Now, if you do have a question and if you would like me to cover it in this podcast, if you want to send an email to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com, and if you just want to put podcast in the subject line, I'll know that it's something that you'd like me to cover in the podcast. Now, going back to the question, how many hours should you spend on your business? Now, if I said to you that you needed to spend 6 or 7 hours on your business, how would that feel? Now, I'm sure if I said that to you, you would probably panic, and then you may say, well, I'm not working hard enough on my business. Or you may be thinking, okay, if that's what it needs to be done, that's what needs to be done. But you're probably thinking, well, that's going to take a lot out of my family life. You know, I haven't got much time in the evening to even spend that much time, which will probably mean I'll be up half the night. And, you know, it may put you off completely. So thankfully, I'm not going to tell you that you need to spend 6 or 7 hours on your business. What I'm going to tell you is that you should work on your business as little as possible. Now, there's 2 reasons that you should do that. Now, what I would recommend is looking to see that if you only had a half an hour or an hour of time, what would you do on your business? Now, as I said, rather than telling you that you need to spend more hours on your business, how could you be more productive if you had less time? Now, say, for example, I said to you, well, you should only spend half an hour on your online business, and that is all you can do. You know, when that clock hits minute 31, it's time to down tools, and you can't come back to your business until tomorrow. Now, I'm sure if you're someone who is maybe working a little bit hard, you know, the thought of maybe just scaling everything back to maybe a half an hour's work or an hour's work is probably going to make you think, well, I can't get all this done. But I'm sure if I did say to you that you needed to work on your business for 6 or 7 hours, you would probably spend a lot of time probably wasting that time. You'd probably be in Facebook groups that you don't need to be in. You would probably be maybe just watching YouTube videos and just, you know, just surfing all over the internet. And out of those 6 or 7 hours, I'm sure the majority of that wouldn't be productive time. But if you were limited to only half an hour or an hour, I'm sure you would look at your business in a new light. You would probably look at the things that would get you the most bang for your buck. You know, I'm sure you would stop surfing on the web, watching YouTube videos, hanging out in those Facebook groups, and I'm sure you would do more concrete things in your business, like maybe creating content, maybe recording a couple of podcast episodes in that half an hour, or maybe doing maybe a video or 2, or maybe writing a blog post. But focusing on a kind of a shorter amount of time kind of makes you kind of knuckle down and, you know, realize, well, what is the best things I should be doing on my business? Now, content creation is really great if you are limited in time, because what you can do is you can create one piece of content, you can put it out there, and people can be reading it, they can be watching it, they can be listening to it today, tomorrow, 6 months from now, or a year from now. But that content can be reused over and over again, compared to maybe a conversation in Facebook that only lasts maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then that conversation is gone, or that content is gone off the Facebook newsfeed, and somebody is never ever going to come in contact with it again. So if you are going to create content, I would recommend putting blog posts up, because it's a platform that you own. It'll always be there, and it's not like it's going to scroll off the newsfeed. And again, to a podcast or YouTube videos. And again too, if you are limited in time, I would also recommend that you could repurpose that content. So what you could do is you could take that content from that podcast and maybe create it into a blog post, where you just convert the audio into text, and then reuse and repurpose the same content. So by having a limited amount of time, it does kind of make you kind of knuckle down and think to yourself, well, what is the really most important? What is the core things I need to do to build this business, to get more people on my email list, to sell more products or whatever? And again, you will find that if you were limited in time, you will find that your business will probably grow, it'll get bigger, and then you'll find that you are finding that you can't do it in that half an hour, or you can't do it in that hour. Now when you reach a point like that, it's easy for us to say, well, I'll just spend another hour on my business. But what I'd recommend maybe is just having a look at what you're doing in that hour and asking yourself, is there any way maybe I could outsource this? If I find maybe that I'm recording a couple of podcast episodes and I can't get it done in the hour, and it's rolling into hour number 2, maybe I should think about maybe hiring somebody that could maybe put all the podcasts together for me. Someone who could take the intro music, the outro music, and upload it to iTunes for me. And again too, maybe you could hire somebody who could take care of the blog post for you, who you just give them the raw text, they can edit it, they can clean it up, and then they could put it on your blog. Or again too, you could give maybe that audio track of the MP3 of the podcast episode, give it over to someone else and get them to type out convert it from audio into text and create that blog post for you. So when you find that you are limited in time, as I said, it does make look at your business in a different way, because you are going to focus on the things that are the most important. And again too, if you find that you are kind of growing outside your time limits, well then hire people to take care of the things that you probably don't need to be doing. And in that way, you will find that your business will be growing and growing, but you won't be throwing more hours into it. If you were kind of working on that business for 6 or 7 hours, you would probably find, if you were doing everything yourself, that you might throw an extra hour in, and suddenly you're working maybe 8 hours or 9 hours, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, do I need to do this and do I need to do that? And then you're taking on more and more work that you really shouldn't be doing. So when it comes to how many hours you should do on your business, rather than maybe just trying to do as much as possible, I would go the opposite way. I would try to do as little as possible and try and do it in the smallest amount of time. And if you do need more time than that hour or two, fair enough, give it up. But look at it through that kind of lens, is what is the most important thing that I need to create right now? And then again too, do I need to do all the actions? Can I not maybe hand some of this over to someone else and let them take care of the things that maybe I'm not good at, or that's taken me a long time to do? So as I said, if you have any questions, just send an email over to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com and I'll cover them in this podcast episode. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if you do, let me know, and maybe we might cover some more questions in the future in the podcast. So as always, have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Rightcome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.